Hello guys, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that little bell right there so that you can get notifications every time I upload a video. Okay? Enjoy. Hey, what is up you guys? This is your boy Andy Mixers. Welcome to andyartstv, and today we're going to talk about Final Fantasy 16. Oh my god. Hey look man, Final Fantasy 16 is basically the new Final Fantasy 9. And I'm not trying to exaggerate here. We haven't had a all-out fantasy Final Fantasy game, an epic fantasy Final Fantasy game in a long time. I think more than a decade, really. So Final Fantasy 16 is basically like the new Final Fantasy 9. It's an epic fantasy with little to no technology. It's not like it's not a Final Fantasy game that's kind of like science fantasy where they live in an advanced civilization with technology and they can cast spells and shit. No, this is an all-out epic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings style. Going back to Final Fantasy. It's been a while, so it's not gonna be like Final Fantasy 8. Not gonna be like Final Fantasy 7. So if you don't like an epic fantasy world, then you know what, probably not gonna like this one. I know a lot of people play Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8 because of the the cool tech. A lot of sci-fi, fans like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, but this is going to be a full-on fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy 9 was literally the last one, the last Final Fantasy game that was an epic fantasy, little to no technology. There was Final Fantasy 10, but Final Fantasy 10 was science fantasy because they had the whole thing about Machina and Machinas being a sin, and the reason why the world kind of collapsed and all that, why sin was created. In Final Fantasy 7 and 8, they were both basically kind of like a modern, had a lot of modern things, with technology, and all that stuff. Final Fantasy 9 was literally the last one. Don't even get me started on Final Fantasy 15, which was a road trip. Britney Spears road trip, and Final Fantasy 13 with Lightning, which is basically a futuristic basically world, right? Hey, what is up guys? Really quick, just don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell right here so you can get notifications on all my video, because YouTube tends to unsubscribe people randomly. All right, enjoy the video. So if you take a look, what they're showing us, Final Fantasy 16, it looks a lot like Final Fantasy 9. This is the Alexandria Castle. I can see the Alexandria Castle right here. Okay, I can see it. Look, it's a crystal beaming out of the castle. That's Final Fantasy 9 right there. Okay, take a look at the world, take a look at the buildings. It resembles it so much, and this is why I say it's Final Fantasy 16 is the new Final Fantasy 9. If Final Fantasy 9 had really amazing graphics, and they are even going all out with the summoning system. Okay, so they're using a little bit of Final Fantasy 10 with they call them Acons. In Final Fantasy 10 it was Aeons. In Final Fantasy 9 it was Eidolons, right? So they're kind of going that way, making the summons a huge part of the world, a huge part of the story. And I think in order to use magic, you're going to have to have some kind of connection with the Aeons. Excuse me, Acons. Sorry. And one of the reasons why the old games like Final Fantasy 9 was designed the way it was designed was because of the system that we had back then, the PlayStation 1. So they kind of had to design the characters according to the how much data the PlayStation 1 could sustain. Right? So the characters are short. Yeah, it's true, they're short. They look like midgets, but who gives a fuck? Okay, it was a really cool game. And if you remember, Final Fantasy 7 was for the PlayStation 1, and the characters are basically polygons, it was, you know, they were kind of experimenting with it as to see how far, you know, what they can do, how good they can make it look. And then Final Fantasy VIII was a step up with characters using with real human proportions. Final Fantasy IX was basically, it was a really cool. I mean, they really pushed it with Final Fantasy IX with all the things that they did, how they made the game look, and you know, the scenery. So Final Fantasy IX was, you know, they could have made the characters probably taller, probably, you know, maybe it would have been an entirely different design if they had, you know, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 graphics. You get the point. So our boy Clive Rosfield. Man, I cannot wait to play with this guy. Obviously, this is going to be a one-player game like all Final Fantasy games, but I think, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like a one-character type of game, kind of like Devil May Cry, or like, yeah, one-character type of game. And then, I mean, are we going to get more characters? Is he going to get more characters on his team? Is he going to be able, we're going to be able to switch characters? Or are we going to play with Clive Rosfield the entire time? Because he can fight, right? He's a swordsman and he can also use magic. So is this going to be like a Dragon Guard type of game? I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but it will be a very different Final Fantasy if it is, right? Now Clive, I guess what they're going for here is kind of like the silent swordsman Cloud Striffe type of guy instead of the Final Fantasy IX Sedaine thief / pimp type of guy. I mean, come on, guys. Sedaine was a pimp. Sedaine was a ladies' man. Clive Ross feels more like Cloud. He's just silent. He just wants to kick ass. He just wants to do his job. And yeah. And wow, man, I cannot wait to play this game. It's going to be really fun. And I guess that is it for this video, man. I don't know what else to say. We don't know much about the game yet. We've seen the battle system. We've seen, you know, a little bit of it, but it will be really cool. Yeah, we just gotta wait for more information. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.